In this video, I'm going to talk about the Panasonic 25mm f1.7 and the Panasonic 20mm Pancake f1.7 specifically for video. Hello YouTube, my name is Ryan Timms and I have been making a lot of videos lately with the Panasonic GX, I have it right here, GX85. Man, I love this little camera. It is really fun to use, really fun to shoot with. And I got a couple of different lenses in to test because I wanted something that was going to be compact, that was going to be easy to use, something that I could take really good stills and video with, and something that overall I would be happy with using with this camera. So I looked around and the Panasonic 25mm f1.7 and the Panasonic 20mm Pancake f1.7 seemed very similar, but a little bit different in price. The Pancake right now, it goes for somewhere around $250, and the 25mm was on sale for $149. So I went ahead and picked them both up to kind of test and see which one I liked the best. So here's a clip with the 20mm Pancake, the 25mm, and the 12-35 next to each other so that you can see the size differences. If you've ever used that 12-35, you know how small that is for how great of a lens it is. So seeing how tiny that 20mm Pancake is in comparison was definitely something that was very appealing to me. I was hoping that the GX85 could be a really good travel camera that I could fit into like a large coat pocket or something and really carry around with me all day with this lens. But then I picked up the 25mm f1.7 and was pleasantly surprised. So I'm going to talk about ergonomics of the lens, why I like which lens over the other, which ones I'm going to be using more so than I am going to be showing like pixel peeping results and talking about optically which one is more perfect than the other. There's a couple of other really good videos that cover that already. So if you're really into like diving in 400% on an image, then you may want to go somewhere else. But I'm going to talk about showing some sample footage that I shot with all of the lenses, talking about which one I prefer to use and why, and which one I ended up returning. So I uploaded two different videos on my channel last week, one that was shot entirely with the 25mm f1.7 handheld, and another one that was shot entirely with the 20mm Pancake all handheld. One of them I did in my backyard, the other one we went to an art museum while I had some family over for spring break, for their spring break, and so I used the lenses a couple of different times, more than just those videos, but I ended up deciding that the 25mm f1.7 was the lens that I was going to keep. I definitely like that lens a lot more. Now, let me explain why. The main thing that really frustrated me that I thought I was going to love about the Pancake lens was its size. It was almost too small in that body that I couldn't quite fit my hands on the camera and around the way that I would have liked. Now here's a couple of clips where you can see the GX85 with the Pancake on, and the 25mm and the 12-35, and then the 12-35 zoomed fully extended, just so you can kind of see all of the size difference in comparison when you're using these different lenses. Now with the 20mm Pancake, you can fit that into like a bigger pocket, like a coat pocket or something like that, and that's great. So travel size, that's gonna be the best way to go. If you really, really need something that's gonna be that compact, then these other lenses aren't going to work for you. Optically, from what I've seen, the 20mm is superior to the 25mm ever so slightly. It's just a little bit sharper and a little bit nicer, and people that are blowing up photos really big are really preferring that lens to the 25mm f1.7. But I'm not doing that. I'm primarily shooting video. So the biggest thing that was really, really irritating, like I said, was the size. But what came with that was this funky little focus ring on this lens. And I felt like I had to sort of chuck the focus or move my hand around the lens a whole bunch of times to get it to where I wanted it to go. Versus on the 25mm or the 12 to 35, I can pull the focus nicely and I don't have to adjust as many times and feel like I'm moving the camera and bouncing everything around just to quickly get it in focus. Now let me show you the issue with the focus. You might be able to see here that line. Now when I throw the focus, it takes me a really, really long time, no matter how fast or slow I turn it, to get to the other end of the focus throw. So I'm having to make a million little micro adjustments like this to get to the other end. One really long turn like this, where I'm running the risk of getting my finger in the shot, right? Or I'm trying the autofocus and the motor in this lens is really, really slow. It doesn't have nearly the same performance as like the 12 to 35 or other prime lenses that I've used from Panasonic. I was aware that the focus motor was bad in the old version of this lens, and I would expect it to be. It's a much older lens. It's one of the earlier Micro Four Thirds lenses that Panasonic produced, but I'm extremely disappointed in the performance of this newer version. But it's not going to give you continuous autofocus, which I don't really use on these cameras anyway, but you don't even have the option to use it with the Pancake. And it just is slow. It hunts all over the place. The motor in it just isn't as up to date as I would have liked. And note that I was using the Mark II version of this lens, not the old 20mm Pancake. But from what I've read online, they use the same focus motor. I don't know if that's true or not. When I picked up the 25mm, I expected it to be what it was, inexpensive, feel cheap, and not perform well. But I was really surprised. I think that the size of this lens is much more, I don't know, user-friendly. This feels a lot more natural to me. So I can kind of cup my hand underneath the camera like this and still be able to pull focus most of the way, at least for what I need. And it does focus much faster. So I've changed the function buttons on my GX85 so that right where my thumb falls on this AF AE lock button, I changed that so that's autofocus single. So if I'm pulling, trying to get focus on something, I can hit this button once, it'll grab focus or get really close, and then I can kind of fine tune it with little adjustments. And that's how I shot that whole video, the whole test footage video grill out in my backyard, was using this setup. All of it was handheld with the in-body stabilization. I was really happy with the results that I got. And comparing those two videos, you know, optically, I can almost see no difference in the footage, especially after I've edited and color graded it, then I've compressed it, and then it gets compressed again by YouTube. Whatever benefits there are between the two lenses are going to be so minor that I don't know that it's worth the extra cost. Again, unless you really need that super small lens. That's going to be probably the only reason that I think anybody is going to pick the Pancake over this 25mm. I am blown away by how awesome this 25mm is. Now, for me, the Pancake wasn't going to work. I felt like my fingers were going to get in front of the lens while I was focusing. I didn't have as good of a grip as I do with the 25mm. So I sent back the 20mm Pancake. I don't think that that's the lens for me. I don't know how other video shooters are enjoying it, but personal preference, I really didn't enjoy using that lens. The benefits of the optics were outweighed by the ergonomics of the 25mm and the focus motor in the 25mm. And for the price right now of $149, I mean, you can't beat getting an awesome, 50mm equivalent for that price that has good autofocus, that is fast at f1.7. You get plenty shallow depth of field with these cameras. I'm really impressed with its usability, and if I were going to recommend one inexpensive lens as a Lumix user that you had to have, it would definitely be this 25mm f1.7. It is just fantastic all around. Highly, highly, highly recommend it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you have one lens or the other, and do you have a preference for one or the other? Is there anybody that's using the 25mm f1.7 that prefers the Pancake? And got rid of or sold their 25 millimeter? Are there any pieces that you don't feel like I covered adequately in this video? Please let me know in the comments below. I really enjoy our back and forth conversations, and I'm working on a couple of new videos that are going to come out really soon covering all different types of gear. I'm going to do the GX85 review really soon. I'm going to do a gimbal review. I've got a jib review coming up, all kinds of cool stuff. So be sure to subscribe so that you can check out all those videos as soon as they come out, and follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is at RyanBTims. Be sure to follow me on there. I post pictures almost daily of different camera setups, photos that I'm taking, clips that I've done. So follow and connect with me on there, and I will see you in the next video.